In the fun and intelligent room we stay. Welcome to the fun and intelligent room, where ideas bloom and dreams resume. We're growing strong, we're breaking through a world of wisdom made just for you. Let's learn, let's laugh, let's share our light. Embrace the day and own the night. Together we rise, our voices in tune, in the fun and intelligent room.
Okay, hello. How you all doing? Welcome to the Fun and Intelligence Room, a place where laughter meets learning. We have a very wonderful topic today, and our topic is how to hack your life and build the future you want. We have someone who is really very amazing. We have an amazing guest who happens to be my mentor too, the one and only Mr. Mohammed Fofana, who is going to be sharing insights on how to hack your life and build the future that you want. Oftentimes, we feel like we are stuck in the wrong life, wrong job, wrong path, wrong habits, and we ask ourselves, like, what is one thing I can do to get, I like to call it a mess. Like, how can I get out of this mess? Or oftentimes you feel like you are too intelligent where you are now and you want to try something else. I call it transitioning. We call it career transition. So you want to transition and you really don't know how to go about it. We have the King of Kings who has done it for so many people. He did it for a lot of Africans. We have people from Nigeria, from Cameroon, Ghana. I have seen him do it over and over again. And as someone who is not selfish, I brought him here in the studio to share his ideas with all of you so that you can get out of your lazy couch. No, I didn't mean that way. You can get out of your couch and do something better for yourself. Transition, like take that big bold step and transition. So without wasting much of your time, let me introduce you to I like to call him the boss of all bosses. The boss of all bosses, Mr. Mohammed Fofana. Thank you.
Thank you, Shola. I want to first say what I'm doing right now. This is kind of it's a feel good thing because I remember when I first met you. You were like, I need to change my life.
Yep.
I need to I don't know anything about computers, but I want to get in IT.
Mm-hmm.
I remember telling you, hey, anything can be learned if you learn it the right way.
Yep.
So I'm just amazed seeing your transition, seeing how you've been from that step where you were kind of not confident, trying to
Yep.
figure out yourself. And now you have a successful IT career.
Yeah.
You're doing MCing.
Yes.
And I remember like when you came said, I want to start doing MC. I'm like, you know what, go for it.
Yeah.
I've seen like this changes and I've seen you grow and grow.
Yeah.
And for me, honestly, that's why we do it. It's seeing folks that you've kind of impacted in a little way,
Yep.
see them take it and run with it. So I want to just let your viewers know that it took work, and I've seen her when she was shaking and scared,
Yes.
but she moved through. And I think that's what I want to share in this with your audience.
Okay.
A lot of people want to change their lives. Some people they are frustrated. They feel stuck. And by doing some key things, you can start making that change to live in the life that you want. And I've taught thousands of people, and I've seen people who have gone successful, and I've seen people who haven't succeeded, and I've seen the differences. What made some of these people succeed, and what made some of the others don't, even though they had all the potential. So I'm more than glad to go through that and kind of share with folks. If I can change one person's perspective,
Of course.
and then I feel like my job is done. But thanks for
I'm
having me.
here. I'm a testimony. Yeah, I'm here. So I'm a testimony. So my first question for you will be that most times I have a lot of friends who sometimes they feel very stuck where they are. Do you understand? Can you tell us a time in your life when you were at this point that people are? Because I've shared my story over and over and over again. So, and sometimes people feel like maybe you are just trying to paint things a certain kind of way. So I want them to like do I say hear from the horse's mouth? So can you tell us one time where you were stuck and how you were able to, when you were at that lowest point, how was it? How was the journey like? What were the obstacles and how were you able to change things over?
Great question. So let me just give people a little context about my background, right? So I came to the States when I was 10, about to
Okay.
be 11, and then I went to school here, and I went to college. I went to University of Maryland, and I studied economics. No computer, right?
Wow.
And I remember after studying economics, I came out. I got a job. My first job was about like $32,000 doing some research
Wow.
for this IT firm, and I was doing commercial real estate research, and I worked at that company for over 6 years, and I was only making, remember, in 6 years, I went from 32,000 to $52,000 a year, which may sound like a lot of money, but it wasn't. So now I have family back home, and I'm always paying, like,
Of course.
so most of the
Welcome
money
to
I make here,
Africa.
thank you, the money goes there. And in fact, sometimes I feel like they know my pay schedule more than me. So
Of
because I'll
course.
start getting calls around my pay time, right? So now I'm stuck. I feel drowned. I'm working hard, and I was like, maybe my education is not there. Let me go
Yeah.
and get a degree. So I went back to school, and I got I went for my master's, an MBA,
Okay.
and then I came out with an $80,000 student loan
Oh my goodness.
with 3% uh, 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 pay increase. It didn't help. So again, I was frustrated, and then I felt stuck. I can't quit the job because I need the money for myself and my
course.
family, and then I also so I was stuck. So here's what happened. A friend of mine said, "Hey, you're always complaining about your job." My roommate, and he's like, there's some guys that are teaching IT, and then they say you can make like six figures if you learn it.
Oh wow.
But they charge like $3,500 for it, and I'm sitting here. I don't even have the only money I have right now is my share of the rent, which was about $1,000. And then I don't have it. So he was like, you know what? I was like, well, I would try this, but then you're gonna have to wait for the rent. So what? I was so desperate that I was willing to try it, and that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I didn't know how I was gonna get the 3,500,
Okay.
and things just happened. And I signed up for that class, and I'm telling you, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, more than college, because I had no idea what that guy was talking about. A lot of it was an Oracle class. A lot of what he was teaching was going over my head. I think 40% I was understanding, 60% was going over. But here's one thing: I was so desperate. I kept saying, there was a voice saying like, "Oh Mo, you can't do this. Why don't you go back?" But then I was determined. I wanted a change. I knew, and I just decided I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure I go through this class. And then so I did. And then after that, then the class ended, and he was like, "Start applying." And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still lost, right?
Yep.
But again, I was scared. And then, but he said just apply. So I was desperate. So I kept applying for jobs. And I remember I had a phone interview. They called me and they were asking me a question, and I didn't know, right? So I froze up and I hung up the phone, and then I called him back. I'm like, sorry, we got disconnected. I didn't get the job. But so I kept trying, and then guess what happened? I started getting a little bit better and better by each interview. Till one day I got a call, took an interview, it went well. And then the owner of the company called me and said, "Hey, come into the office for a second interview." So I went in there. He asked me some questions, and he says, "Yeah, you're good. You got we're gonna give you an offer, $124,000 a year." And I
Oh
was
my
like,
goodness. Oh my goodness.
so I'm making 52, and I'm going out to 124. It was like surreal.
That's like more than 100% increase.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like three times what I was making. Good money. And then, so I never thought I would be making that kind of money.
Yep.
But again, but people see that. I spent almost a year taking classes, practicing, interviewing for me to get that. And at the end of that, I was so grateful. Now, when I got the job, the next thing was, I'm going to get fired because I don't know what I'm doing. So what I'm trying to say is, that was a life-changing moment for me. But it taught me a lesson that even though you're scared, even though you feel like you don't have all the pieces together,
Yep.
you just keep going, and things will happen. There's a way, they say God help those who help themselves.
Yeah.
I was desperate. So in any of those moments, I would have just quit, and that would have been me being in the same place. But I kept going, even when I didn't know when I didn't feel like I was ready, and that narrative kept playing like over and over in my life as I grew. So yeah, so you ask about a moment. That's one of those, and that allowed me to start my own company, start my own skyrocketed my IT career, and everything else I've been doing came from that one decision.
Okay, sounds very interesting. So I have another question for you. Did you really have to unlearn anything about success? And I'm asking this question because many a times people feel like there's a formula to success and they stick with that formula, and when that formula doesn't work for them, trust me, they don't want to try anything. Do you understand? People have this mindset that I am going to be successful just through this channel, and they lay all their emphasis, or they like to say they put all their eggs in one basket. And when they try all that and it doesn't work, they don't even feel like doing anything again. I'm saying this because he knew he was also my teacher too. And at the time when he started teaching me, trust me, when I say I was the dullest in the class, I was the dullest in the class. But there was one thing I always kept on asking myself: the most intelligent person does not have two heads. And at the time we saw the most intelligent girl in the class. What's her name? Bibi or so. She quit. Do you understand? And when I tell you that girl, I used to feel like a dummy where that girl was. But for some reasons, I don't know why, but at the time, she just quit. But I tell you one thing, I went from being the dullest in the class to being one of the smartest in the class before that class was over. So that goes to my next question. Did you have to unlearn anything about success before you got to where you are today?
Yeah. So sometimes when you're figuring out life, you kind of stumble around.
Okay.
But one thing I believe is success leave clue. There's a so let me give you a framework. Like a lot of times people change for two reasons, right? It's either inspiration, which means you see somebody doing stuff, you're inspired, and then you're like, and want to be better.
Yep.
And then the second one, which a lot of us get into, is desperation. So you get to a point where you're desperate. You're like, something has to change. I can't.
Yep.
I've been trying this and it's not working. Something has to change. Einstein says the definition of insanity is trying to doing the same thing over and over,
Yep.
and expecting different result. So and sometimes I've seen that there's certain things you do in life that you kind of stumble around. But if you kind of, in hindsight, you can see some things you were doing. I'll give you an example. I read a book by a gentleman, Dan Sullivan. His name is Dan Sullivan, and Dan Sullivan is a marketing expert consultant. He has helped a lot of companies to rebrand and individuals to rebrand and sell. Right. So I came across it. He calls it the 4 C's of success. Right, and what they are is and this is very important. And if anyone doesn't take anything from this podcast, but then just take this advice and then take it to heart, I think they can change their lives in any way they want. Okay. So there are 4 C's. A lot of times we're scared to try something. We feel like we have to have confidence before we try doing whatever it is, right? So people always think confidence comes first for us to try what we need. But it's actually the last part of the formula. So this 4 C's consists of, the first C is commitment. Anytime you want to make a change, you have to be committed. And committed means I'm willing to do what I need to do to change my life. Okay. If you're not committed, guess what? You can forget about the rest. It starts with that. So when you get to that point, either inspiration or desperation, and you said, I'm committed to making a change. That's the first thing. Now, being committed just means that you want to do it, but you still don't know how or what you need to do, how you're going to get there. But you just know this is where I want to go. Comes the second C. And the second C is courage.
Okay.
And for me, this is the part, whenever I'm trying something new, this is the part I struggle with the most, right?
Courage.
And courage is very, very important. Courage means, it doesn't mean you're not scared. It means that even though you're scared, the fear doesn't stop you. So, fear stands for false evidence appearing, so it's it's one of those things that stops you. But we all have fear.
Yeah.
They say there's the difference between a coward and a hero. They feel the same thing. They feel fear, all of these things, but they know the danger and everything, right? But it's what the hero does that makes them a hero, and what the coward doesn't do that makes them a coward. So courage is a big thing, and I fight with this a lot. Whenever I'm trying to take big gamble, it's like that fear is there. So courage means I'm gonna take the action, and so courage is the second part. So commitment, number one. Number two is courage, and the courage just means you are scared, but you still move
Pushing,
towards
yeah.
to go, and we all go through that. Now, what does courage, taking action, do? Now you start building this third C, which is capability.
Okay.
Capability means your ability to do certain things. You develop skills. So a good example would be, remember when you started learning you want to drive, right?
Yeah.
So you go through that. You're scared. You're like, but I need to drive. I need to learn how to drive. And then you start. You're thinking, oh, what if I run off the road? What if another car comes and I hit the car? So all these fears are there. But guess what you do? You keep practicing and practicing. But as you keep practicing driving that car, what happens? You start building capability.
Yep.
And capability is just being like, okay, you start, keep my hand here, these are the brakes, don't step on the brakes too hard. You keep doing all of those things, right? And as you build up capability, which means your skills go up, you start figuring out things, you start learning new skills, you start building and developing. What happens now? With capability comes the fourth C, which most people think is the first one, which is the final one, which is confidence. Confidence is just meaning that you know you can do something.
Yeah.
And how do you get confidence? By having the capability to do that thing. So a lot of times people think confidence is the start, but no.
Yeah, I used to think, sorry to cut you right, I used to think confidence first. I think I learned something new today. Because when I want to do something, there's a certain level of confidence I try to build. And when I kind of feel like I've not attained that confidence, I just don't try it. You understand? Because I'll be like, no, let me build myself. Let me be like 60% confident first. But one thing I've realized is that oftentimes the people that just throw caution to the wind and just start, with time, they get better way more than me, who think I started off better. Do you understand? Because while working, they've learned all the loopholes that can make them fail, and they've become confident while I was trying to run away from loopholes before even starting. So that's a nice one. I think I got something from that. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's something called analysis of paralysis, right? Where you're thinking, and you don't take any action. You're just paralyzed by thinking too much. Here's the one. I would take anyone trying and being sloppy, but at least you're trying. And the person who's waiting for everything to be perfect.
Perfect.
They will never start.
Okay.
One thing I've learned in life, if you're starting a business, you want to learn something, you want to do something, there's never going to be a perfect time for you to say to start. Right?
Yeah.
If you want to learn anything, the best time would have been was yesterday. But guess what the next best time is? Today. Just start. And there's something about starting. And then I've taught a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people come and go, and the people who are willing to take chances and just start and look and not be ashamed or afraid to look sloppy or bumbling and stumbling, they make more progress than that person who's always planning for everything to be perfect. It doesn't work.
Okay, thank you so much. So you guys have heard this. This is something very big. Trust me, these are what people pay motivational speakers for, to come share with them. Remember, if you don't remember anything today, please remember the 4 C's. And the 4 C's are what? Commitment, courage, capability, and confidence. Do not start with confidence. Remember, confidence comes what? Confidence comes last. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to ask you is that what are the daily routines and the mindset you need to keep? And I'm asking this because oftentimes, and I don't know about Americans, but we Africans will do it. At the beginning of the year, we call it New Year resolution. We start with New Year, new me, New Year, new goals, new this. And guess what? And if you even go to the gym, If you go to the gym in the month of January, trust me, it's always full. There's this mindset, this energy, and this drive that people come with. So, how is it possible? Sustainability, I like to call it sustainability. How do you keep that positive mindset? What are the mindset? What are the daily routines that keeps you in check to really achieve this goal?
Okay, that's a really good question. And a lot of times, one the things that derail our dreams are
Okay.
distractions,
Yep.
right? So I heard something where I think it was Kevin O'Leary, the guy from Shark Tank. He was talking about Steve Jobs, and he said, Steve Jobs has something called signal, and there's something called noise.
Okay.
And he said Steve Jobs has like a 80% signal and 20% noise. And I think he said the only one who he sees who's has a higher, like maybe 100% signal and no noise is probably Elon Musk. And what that means is the signal and the noise thing is if you wake up today and there are 5 things that needs to be done, right? Are you gonna stick to finishing those 5 things that needs to be done and not? That's the signal. The
Okay.
people who can focus maybe saying these 3 to 5 things needs to be done and they can get it done in that day. The noise is anything that distracts you from getting those things done. It can be you on social media. Somebody calls you and say, hey, can you come and anything. So these people, successful people, they're pretty good at the day-to-day work at knowing what the key priorities are
Yep.
and then making sure distractions are not there. But even before that, you talked about New Year's Day. I some years ago I read a book called The One Thing, and it was written by Gary Keller, the guy who owns Keller Williams, one of the real estate company. And when I read that book, I noticed some of the things he talked about. I've been doing that my whole life, but didn't know I was doing it. So here's the one thing. A lot of times we set goals.
Yep.
And our goals, we set like so many goals, right? And what you need to do is saying, okay, and some of these goals, they contradict each other.
Yes.
So what the one thing was saying is, let's say you set up a goal saying, okay, let's go back to our lives. There are key parts of our lives that are important that affect our happiness
Yes.
or our sadness anyway. So what are those? Number one, your health.
Yep.
Right? Your finances.
Yep. Very
Right?
important.
Your key relationship with people.
Yeah.
Your spirituality or religion, whatever, right?
Your emotional life as
Yep,
well.
your emotional life, right? And if you look at your life, these are the key things that make you happy or not. So now, when it comes to setting goals, some people want to set 50,000 goals.
Yep.
And what I'm saying is,
Unrealistic goals.
exactly. And some of these goals, they compete against each other.
Contradict each other.
So what you do is you say, okay, let's take it for example, for your health. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can do to make my health better, to improve my health, right? You know that question. And then, so that's the thing. The one thing is just ask yourself, and you can apply this in all of those things I just talked about. What is one thing I can do to improve my health? Not
Yep.
what are the 50 things. It can be maybe stop eating so much food,
Stop drinking soda.
stop drinking soda, maybe exercise a couple of days in a week.
Yeah.
So, but you know that answer. So here's a secret. You're going to write down whatever that answer comes. And you're going to do only that one thing till it becomes a habit. You're not going to do anything else. Just focus on that till it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
So if it's not drinking soda, just say, okay, I'm not going to. And that's what you do. Once that becomes a habit, then you ask yourself the same question. Now, let's talk about career, right? So this was something I asked me. I'm like, what is something I can do? And then when I decided that I'm going to do IT, I'm going to learn this IT thing, that is all I focused on.
Yes.
I didn't get any other distraction. I'm like, I'm going to learn Oracle or whatever. And I did that. So even when I was stumbling and finding it difficult, because I didn't let any other distraction, I kept going and going, that's what got me here. So from a day-to-day perspective, decide first, what is one thing I can do. If I do that, everything else is not necessary. So you focus on that, and that's how you set your goal. Now, once you have that goal, you now set time.
Yeah.
You make time. They call it time blocking. You set time to do
Yeah.
that particular thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't spend time dealing with the important things, you're gonna lose.
Yeah. That's true. I think that's true. Let me just quickly share my story. I remember that time when I came to Mr. Mo's school, call it Imotech, and I was just tired, I was doing any menial job you can think of. I worked in the saloon, worked in 7-Eleven. I was a driver, I would do DoorDash, Grubhub, Amazon, like anything, even Postmate. So many of all these Gen Zs, you guys don't even know that. Like, I was doing all that. And I told myself one day, it was like a reality check for me. And it's something that it's very, very important. I encourage everybody to do that at least once or twice in a month. Give yourself some reality check. Ask yourself, I am too intelligent. Am I really where I'm supposed to be? And I sat down and I told myself, like, why are you going to always work in places where people see you in a certain kind of way? Now, don't get me wrong. One thing is to have a great job and be wanting extra income. Do you understand? That's okay. You can do anything to make your money. I don't care if you want to cook, you want to do all that. I mean, that's up to you. So I sat down there and I'm a people's person, and I went somewhere and I was hearing people talk about IT, and then I had said I was going to do my master's. But when I asked the question, like, okay, after doing my master's, how much am I going to get paid? And I think they said I studied industrial chemistry, and they said as an industrial chemist with a master degree holder who's new in your field, they're going to pay you $68,000. I'm like, $68,000, that's almost like what I'm earning doing all these menial jobs now. That doesn't take my life anywhere, coupled with the fact that I must have invested tens of thousands of dollars. I'm like, no, what else can I do? So someone told me IT. Trust me, I never knew anything about IT, and I had this friend, Conte, who brought me to Imotech, and I told them I want to do IT. Like, I want to be in the 6-figure gang. Come on now, we be Ninja, no, they carry last. No, I don't want to do this. And I remember they asked me how well I knew the computer. I'm like, I have zero knowledge. I said, but one thing I know is that I am going to leave this place as someone who will be doing well in the I had that determination. I had that drive. Do you understand? Because sometimes people tend to look at where they are and feel like they cannot be better. Like I tell people all the time, if you want to be a medical doctor tomorrow, you can do it. It's only just going to take you a long time. Just have that mindset. And that was how I came. Trust me, I was a mess when I came to the class. Yeah, I was a mess. That's my teacher right there. I was a mess, but I was actually, I think he should say this part for me, please.
No, but again, you see that there, what happened there, right? We talked about the 4 C's, right?
Yeah.
You were committed.
Yeah, I was.
And even though you didn't know anything about it, and you came, it's like I remember I asked how you turn the computer off, and you like,
I'm
just push the power button till that thing went off. I'm like, yeah, that's not how you turn it off. There's a shutdown button on the computer.
I will leave my big finger and press it down till it goes. I couldn't even turn off a laptop when I came, but they put me through, and I was ready to do the work. And this is the big thing most times. People want to change their life. Oh, I want to get to this place. The first question is, are you ready to put in the work? Most times people don't want to put in the work. And people are so impatient. You go to a school, you do an IT course, 4 months, you're already angry that you've not gotten a job. Did your father leave any job for you? He did not. It's work. You want somebody to pay you $12, $13, $14, $15,000 a month. You have to show them that you are competent. Okay? So I think that was like a very, very big thing, like having the intention to spend time on a daily basis. I think that was it for me.
Yeah, and you did. So you showed a commitment, even though you were scared, even though you didn't know exactly what it was you're gonna do. Then by you taking the classes, that's courage there, because it's like you have to spend money, and then also come in there and take an action in a field you know nothing about.
Yeah.
Then not only that, you as you kept learning and coming in, guess what? You started building your capabilities. And I remember even when you were done learning the thing, and I was like, yeah, now you need to start interviewing. You're like, Mr. Moore, I'm not ready for this. I'm like, yeah, you just do it. But again, one of the things I liked is it shows courage, because now interviewing is a skill. And the only way you're going to get better is by doing it. Some people are scared. They don't want to do it. You were scared, but you still do it. So these things, it's a cycle. And then you kept interviewing till what? You started getting comfortable interviewing. The confidence goes up till you land a job. And then after that, now it's like, okay, oh, I got a job. Oh my God, now can I? I'm like, don't worry, you're not gonna get fired. You get, and then so it's a cycle. And that's the theme here, folks. If you just follow these 4 C's, and then just know in your head, especially when the fear creeps in, and then saying, okay, this is my mind talking, trying to protect me, but let me push through it. This is what it takes. People overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in 5 years. If you start taking the steps one by one right now, in the next 3 to 5 years, you'll be somewhere completely different. But you have to pay the price. So you know.
Okay, so I have another question for you. As being in the IT field, has there ever been a time, like out of curiosity, you developed like an application to help yourself, like discipline yourself or something?
Okay, so so we're an IT company. We do have locations here. We are headquartered here in the States, but we do also have locations in Sierra Leone. And we also have in Ghana. We're in Rwanda, and we are working to enter Nigeria.
Of course, I was gonna say, what's going on? Why are you not in the giants of Africa yet? We are the most populous country in the African continent. What's going on?
Yeah, Nigeria.
What's going on, Mr. Sierra Leone?
Hey, it's a hard market to crack. But again, and here's the thing. So the phase I am in my life right now is about more like empowering the African youth for them to develop solutions for Africa, right? So some years ago, we went to Sierra Leone and noticed that there's some health, the health issue there is not good. People are still taking papers, medical records on folders, right? So we worked on developing an application called Care. And we just launched it in Sierra Leone, and we're looking to expand in Nigeria, looking to expand in Ghana.
So look out for Kenny Care. It's going to be coming to Nigeria very soon. I know I got a lot of viewers from Nigeria. Yeah,
and then Nigeria will be a great market because, again, Nigeria has a lot of people. And the ratio to doctors to patient is
really very low.
Yeah.
It's very low.
There's not enough doctors. So if you can bring something,
needed doctors and a lot of patients.
Right. So if you have something that can come in to kind of help that. For me, that was a passion from that. Now, on a personal side, like now, there's a lot of AI. So before AI, what I did, I just had a spreadsheet. That was my app. It was a spreadsheet just to track how I'm doing. Okay, I'll set my goals and then just make sure that I try to check those key things. So I've been doing that spreadsheet to kind of track to make sure I'm doing what I need to do. But now there are a lot of applications out there, and I just built a simple app. In due time I'll share with your audience where they can download that, and it basically tracks some of these things. It would track what am I scared of? And then you write it down. What are the goals that I have? It will set time. You time block. When can I do this? And then, so that application will help you to kind of just structure yourself, and then so you'll focus on where you're trying to go, so you don't get distraction. And I use it now to run my business. I use it to make sure I prioritize right, and also to even have free time for myself. But that is something I will definitely share with the audience for them to have access to it, because again, if that's something that can help them, so great. That would be nice. Just DM Solar, and then you get the link to download
the application. Oh, trust me, I'll be more than happy to share it with you guys. So I have a very tough question. Oftentimes, entrepreneurs often face rejection, losses, and different kinds of setback. Have you ever faced rejection, or have you ever faced, like, because I know aside being in the IT field, I know you're also a very big entrepreneur. So when you face a roadblock, how were you able to overcome that and get back up? Like, just give us, like, just what you did when you were at that particular lowest point, because anybody can succeed, but sustaining that success is where the problem lies. So when you fail, how do you get back?
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So I have a saying that I tell myself every day. Every time I'm scared, right? It's this: get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. Think
Okay.
about that. I always tell myself this: get comfortable feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Why is that? There's something called the comfort zone. The comfort zone is something you know. Like if you wake up right now, let's say right now you are a cloud engineer, a cloud architect, right? Anything about cloud architecting, you can like just do it because you know it. It's your
Yeah.
comfort zone,
That's my area.
right? That's your area. Now, if I say, okay, now let's do some cyber security and other things, right? You may be like, that's you're not gonna be comfortable because that's not something that's your strength, right? But guess what? So in the beginning, you're not gonna be comfortable doing it. But if you start working towards it, what happens now? You pick up the skill set. Remember, back to those 4 C's, right? You pick up the skill sets. Then as you pick up those skill sets, you capability, right? Then with capability, now you start getting confidence. And guess what has happened? Now your comfort zone has widened because you were willing to do something that's uncomfortable. So I say that because I remember when I started doing my working and then I start to shift as an entrepreneur. The first opportunity I got was for the company I was working for. As a contractor, they were rebidding on the contract, so they wanted me to help write the rebid, right? And I was like, okay, if I help you guys, I want a piece of the
Of
contract,
the cake.
right? So they're like, okay. So I negotiated. So now instead of me just being an employee, I wanted to be one of the team,
Yeah.
right? So now I can be there myself and then hire people.
Yeah.
So that was scary, but again, fear. But I was courageous. I'm gonna ask, what the worst they can say? No.
No,
But I
yeah.
knew the value that I had. So now we are writing this contract, right? And then I'm seeing all these people that are like multimillionaires and they're running big companies, and I feel small. I'm like, I don't belong here, right? And the imposter syndrome started kicking
Yeah.
in. But what did I do? I just tell myself, hey Mo, get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. You belong here. You know what you're doing. So I was stuck, and then we kept. So that's in every point where I'm scared to do something, and that imposter syndrome kicks in. In each point where it's risky, I need to be courageous. I push through, and guess what? It works out, and then I learn from it. Then the next time I'm meeting with some of these people, I've done it before, so now I have the confidence to do
Yeah,
it.
used
So
to
again,
it.
there's a theme here I'm trying to keep telling you. Every time I face a challenge, there's some things, it's being scared, but being courageous, but determined. I want to be part of this. I want this done. And I'm willing to feel uncomfortable to do it till it becomes comfortable. And guess what I do? Do it again. If people just follow this formula, there's nothing in the next 2, 3 to 5 years, you can keep growing and reinventing yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. So my next question is, if someone feels like they are in the wrong career, wrong job, wrong path, we've talked about the wrong habits and how to get out from that. What is the one thing they can do at the break of dawn tomorrow to start putting their life, changing the trajectory of the current destination of their life? What is the one thing they can do to just change things around? Just one thing they can do. Because oftentimes, people listening, but they still find it very hard. They've gotten a lot of information and they don't even know the path. I know you've talked about the like the 4 C's: commitment, courage, capability, and confidence, which I know they will pick over time. But what is the one thing you think they can do at the break of dawn tomorrow to put themselves in that motion to redirecting their pathway to life?
So here's me. The one thing I believe in life is no matter where you are in your life, no matter how old you are,
Yeah.
you can always decide to go in a different direction,
Okay.
right? So every major thing in your life starts with a decision. Me in my life, how I got into IT, I was just fed up. I was tired. I was like, I cannot keep doing this. It's not a way for me to live. I was stressed and all this responsibility. I needed a change. So decision is a thing. So
So you're telling them that the first thing they have to
first
do
thing you have to
is
decide.
decision. Can you hear that? He said decide first. Okay.
And the word decision, what does it mean? It means to cut off. So you pick an action, you cut everything off.
Okay.
So that's what decide means, to cut off. So you have to decide what you want to do, right? And then once you make that decision, then you commit to it.
Yeah.
But decision to change. And here's the thing: I don't care how many mistakes you've made in the past. I don't care how many stumble blocks you've made. I don't care if you've been going in the wrong path. You can always start going the opposite way. You can do that, but you have to look in and decide. So I tell this to people. Some of us, we've made a lot of mistakes in our lives and we feel like we are no good, right? Guess what? You can do it. If you start deciding, like, I'm going to change my life, guess what? 5-10 years from now,
Yep.
no one's going to, they'll be like, wow, this person, you could even be an example. We see, like here, you see rappers like Jay-Z and some of these people, they talk about like 50 Cent, where they're like, doing all, getting in trouble gang. But when they decide this is where I want to go, and then they start putting one step, and now these people are icons. You see them becoming multi-millionaires, billionaires. But you forget, at one point they were committing crimes and doing all these things, but they decided that life is going to end up me being dead.
Yep.
This year is my opportunity. And you see that.
Yeah.
So make a decision that I'm going to change my life. And once you make that decision that this is where you want to go, commit to it. And when you commit to it, whenever the fear comes in, just be courageous and keep taking action.
Yes.
As you keep taking action, guess what's going to happen? You're going to build capabilities. And as you build those capabilities, your confidence is going to come. And confidence builds confidence. And then you keep rolling and rolling. And I'm telling you, if you do this in the next year, 2 years, you're going to be somewhere different.
Yeah, trust me, I did that. I came from being a full-time housewife. Never worked, just sitting down there making food and doing all that, to becoming a senior cloud engineer. I did not stop at that. I'm also an MC. I did not stop at that. I'm a podcast host. I did not stop at that. I still go to do public speaking, a motivational speaker. And even though I have a mentor, I'm also a very proud mentor to people. So the first thing first is decision. You have to decide. So I have another question. What is the biggest misconception of success that people have that you wish that they understood? What is it that people think about success that their concept about it is wrong? And how do you kind of explain that to them?
I think one of the things is we compare ourselves to other people.
Comparison is the biggest stealer of joy. Thank you so much.
It is. So my cousin owns a CPR training, and he has a sign there, and I saw that sign and I loved it. And it says, "The road to success does not have a speed limit."
Yep.
And when I saw, like, you know what, that's interesting. Some people who road to success, they're fast. They're in a Ferrari. They zoom. They get there, right? Some people, guess what? They're maybe running 25 miles an hour, but they're heading that way. So I think the biggest mistake we make is when we start comparing ourselves to other people. I always say everyone has a different path. Now, it's good to have a mentor. Like you said, I'm your mentor, and I have mentors.
Yeah.
Because a mentorship, what does that do? When someone mentors you, they prevent you from making catastrophic mistakes.
Yep.
Because if I bump my head here and I'm mentoring you, when you not seeing that, I can say, hey,
you're about to bump your head.
I can guide you, right? And I'll encourage people, you can get mentorship. See somebody who's doing well and then ask him, say, hey, can you mentor me?
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry to cut you there. Anytime I feel mentally drained, mentally exhausted, mentally hungry, all I just need to do, I go to his office, sit down, have a conversation with him, and my brain becomes okay. So continue.
That is a great point. So even myself, always find people who are doing well. And here's the interesting thing: a lot of successful people, you'd be amazed. People don't ask them to mentor them. They don't ask them, and they have a lot of knowledge. Sometimes they want to share,
Yeah.
but they don't get asked. Now, there's some guidelines when you're asking for mentorship,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Number one, if you come ask me, say mentor me, and I give you an advice,
Yeah.
you don't do anything with it. The next time
Yeah.
you come, I'm not gonna,
I'm
because
not answering
I'm busy.
you.
You know, most of the successful people, they're very busy. But if I give you a nugget, and then you come back and I see that you win and implement it, guess what? It makes me excited to give you more. So that's one thing. If somebody is mentoring you and they give you advice that's legitimate, follow through with it. Another thing, if they're doing a business, they say they have a business, volunteer. How can I help you? Without, don't be like, oh, give me a job or anything. How can I help? Sometimes being selfless and giving back. These are the little things that will get you more mentorship from that person. They give you more. So rule number one, ask. Say, hey. But then rule number two, when they give you these ideas, implement them. And rule number three, find out how you can help them. Because, sometimes it may not be like, hey, if they have a business, talk to people about their business. If they find how you can also give back.
Yes.
And that's but
How you can add value to the
Yes.
relationship. Don't just be there and be a taker. So before I ask our last question, I beg of you, please trust me. I'm gonna be bringing so many nice guests who will be sharing a whole lot of information. How to get grants. Do you understand? How to become a better person emotionally, parenting lifestyle. We're gonna be bringing in a lot of people. Please follow and share all our social media platform. If you have a personal question to me, our email address is going to be there. Please send an email. For those of you who want us to advertise you guys, or you want to come on board, you feel you have something important to share with the community, you can also hit us up on our email address. Follow, share, and like every platform. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we are on YouTube. We'll be showing everything on YouTube. Please do not forget to subscribe. Very, very important. So, Mr. Mohammed, my last question for you today would be, if your journey in life could teach people just one lesson, do you understand? Just one lesson. What is one thing you can say, okay, over my years of transitioning from where I was, from plan A, from A, point A to point B or point C, wherever you are now, what is one lesson that life has taught you that you wish you knew earlier and you want to share it out there to our viewers?
The pain, you learn the most from pain more than anything else.
Wow. That's
Sometimes
experience.
we run away from pain, but pain is what makes us who we are. And it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you react to what happens to you. I will tell you right now, some of the most difficult part of my life, they shaped me to who I am.
Yeah.
And if I didn't go through that difficulty,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been the person that I am today. I'll give you guys a couple of examples of what I mean. I told you guys I'm from Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, I went to Sierra Leone on vacation. That time the war was there.
Yeah.
And then I got stuck behind the rebel. When the rebel attacked the capital, I was stuck behind where they control. And I thought I thought that was the end of it for me, because if they find out I'm from America and all of these things, I'm done. But I was so scared. I was so terrified because I saw a lot of bad things. And one of the things that I saw while things were going on, I was so scared. I said, you know what, God, if you said this is where I'm going to come to, I accept that. But if you make me survive this, I will do my part to make sure something like this never happens. I'll give back as much as I can. And believe me, even sometimes it's difficult there doing things in Sierra Leone, but that promise is one
Keeps
of the
you
reasons it keeps
going.
me going and keep trying things to help to do things, because I feel like if I can change one or two people's lives, then I've done it. But it's not easy. So what I'm saying is hardship. That's one of the difficult things. So my advice is, when you're going through a hard time, don't see it as the opportunity to grow.
Yep.
Sometimes the more pain you go into, that pain is the obstacle is the way. That pain you're going through, that's the way you need to go for you to become a better person. If you're not going through that pain, you're not gonna be the successful person. It's like this. We see a diamond, right?
Yeah.
A diamond is, you see a beautiful diamond, but a lot of things people don't understand is the amount of pressure that a diamond was once a rock. They went through a lot of pressure for it to become that diamond. So again, when you're going through a hard time in life, instead of saying, "Oh God, why me?" or "Why me? Why me?" say,
If
ask
not
yourself,
you, then who?
"Yep, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
What lesson can I take?" And the questions you ask yourself, that's what's going to relate to how you see that problem. I'll give you a final example, right? There's a story of two kids. They were raised by an alcoholic father. The father was abusive. He was beating them, abusive to the mom. And when they grew up, one was a successful businessman. The other one was a reckless drunk.
Wow.
And when they asked each one of them, "How did you end up being this way?" they both gave the same answer.
My
What do you
father.
expect from having an alcoholic father? And why I tell that story, they both had, what happened to them was the same, but how they interpret it. One
Reaction.
said, "Yep." So it's 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react. One says, "You know what? When I grow up and I have my family, I'm going to make sure they never experience what I'm going through."
Yeah.
The other one's like, "Well, if he's doing this to me, I'm no good, I'm useless. So when he gets older, he's in that mind frame, I'm useless, I'm no good." So he became his father's son. So that's it, people. Especially folks, life is hard, things are difficult, but just take your difficulties and the question you ask yourself and use that, saying, "What can I learn from this? How can I take this to go forward?" And when it comes back full circle, saying sometimes when we are desperate, desperation is the
Yep.
biggest motivator. So when you're desperate, when you're in a bad place, decide that I'm going to change my life, and then commit to it. And once you commit to it, take the courage, even when you're scared, to keep taking action. And as you take those actions, you're going to build core capabilities. And as you build those capabilities, those knowledge, those skill sets, you will now get to a point where you'll be confident. And once you get to that next point, just repeat the same process. And if you do that, your success trajectory is going to go up.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed Fofana. It has been an absolute pleasure having you in the studio today. Don't forget the topic was how to hack your future and build the life that you really want. Do not, if you forget anything today, do not forget the 4 C's. Do not forget the 4 C's: commitment, courage, capability, and confidence. Keep on repeating it till you get the life that you want to get. Till we meet again on with our next guest, or maybe I might be the one doing it alone, whichever way it goes. Please follow us, like, subscribe, share. Send me an email, shoot me an email. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, shoot me an email, talk to me. You feel like you want to meet my mentor. If I see that you're someone who's really very serious with your life, trust me, maybe I might, just because my boss likes to push people that are really ready to take their life, and he's building a community. When that community is ready, I'm also going to be sharing it with you guys too. Please, serious people only. If you're not serious, we'll just kick you out of that place. But please follow us till I see you next time again. From here, from us at the studio, bye bye till we see you next time.
Thank you.
Fun and intelligence room. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Step inside. inside, there's a world to find, a space where hearts and minds align. Empowerment's the name of the game. We're here to grow, to learn, to claim. Through laughter, tears, and brighter views, exploring paths that feel brand new. Creativity lights up the way. In the fun and intelligent room we stay. Welcome to the fun and intelligent